Hello, and welcome to your summer course HRMA 3358. I'm Dr. Abbott. By now, you've probably received an email from me welcoming you to the class. Please make sure you read this email. It's got some important information for you. I've also prepared this short lecture on just how to be successful in HRMA 3358 this summer. So that's all I'm going to talk about in this little tutorial. So first and foremost, make sure you read your syllabus. You can find it under the Information tab. You will also find the course schedule for each week under the Information tab. Everything else you'll find under Course Content tab. First, you're going to notice from the syllabus that I'm not requiring a textbook this semester. Past students say that the lectures are more than sufficient and have plenty of information in them for you. I'm recommending that you get Hospitality Law by Stephen Barth. This was the textbook that I used to require for this class. You can use any edition, any past edition. Anything that's newer than the third edition will be fine because the chapters are the same. So if you hear me referencing a chapter in a lecture, it is from Dr. Barth's Hospitality Law book. Again, this book is not required, but it is really very useful if you want a deeper dive into hospitality law. I have many students that have his book still on their bookshelves and use it as a reference. However, I understand that the cost of textbooks and the cost of school is difficult for many, and if there's any way that we can help you in defraying those costs or lowering those costs, I'm more than happy to oblige that. But you need to make sure you're watching the lectures. All right, so that's the caveat. Make sure you're watching the lectures. Okay, well, let's get started. First, this is going to be a fast and furious 4 weeks. It's very difficult to put law into a 4-week session, but we can do it, all right? I know we can. So it's key that we plan and we prioritize. That's what I want to help you with. So if you are ever in doubt, make sure you ask me. I'm always here to help you, all right? And I will give you some tools for contacting me in just a moment. It's not wanting to change. There we go. So grading criteria. So I'm sure that that's probably very important to all of you, and I want to make sure that we cover that. So basically the grade breakdown in the scale, and this is in your syllabus. So, it might be subject to adjustment at times, but it's, right now this is the way I have it broken down. I've got it by points. So you will have online assignments each week. There's approximately 2 per week. I think in the 4th week, I do not have any assignments because you have your individual research papers due that week. So I kind of give you a break in the fourth week and anticipating that you guys will be busy working on that. But in every other week, you'll have at least 2 online assignments. I believe there's at least 2. Class participation is worth 20 points, and I'll go over that in just a minute to let you know how I'm going to be grading that. There are going to be 4 tests, so 1 test per session. It will only cover the materials during that session. And when I say session, because that's how I list things by topic, in the summer class, because we have 4 sessions, the summer class is 4 weeks, so really each session is equal to a week. So that helps you in thinking about it. You also have an individual research paper. You can find the information about it under the Contents tab as well, and that will be worth 20 points. So that's your grade breakdown. So class participation, now this is really important because during the week or session, right, during that week, we'll usually have 1 or 2 topics that we're covering, and I'm pretty flexible with You can take the test whenever you feel like you're ready. You could turn in the assignments whenever you feel like you're ready. But when it comes to the discussion post, because I really want to have students in the past have always said that the discussions are really rich, and that's where they learn so much, and they learn a lot from each other, and from me discussing things in the discussions as well. So I really want you to try to adhere to some of the deadlines that are in your course schedule. And so your initial discussion posts, there's going to usually be 1 to 2 discussions per session or per week, and they're always due on a Wednesday. Okay, so if you look at your course schedule, you'll see due Wednesday, all right, of that week. You're not going to see your classmates' discussions post prior to you posting your initial post. And some students have, in the beginning have thought, oh, I wish I could see the other students' post to see if I'm on the right track. I don't really like not being able to see their post. But what I've really found in the last 3 semesters since I initiated this new rule is that it's helped us avoid groupthink. I read all of your discussions, and so I can tell, usually I'll have the first 2 or 3 people will post, and then everybody else has the exact same opinion. It's amazing. There's no different perspectives. And I'm like, something's not right here. And so I wanted to see what would happen if I blocked you guys from seeing each other's post prior to posting. You know what I got? We got a lot of discussion because we had a lot of different opinions, and we had a lot of different perspectives, and we had a lot of really good ideals. And these things would have been missed had I stayed with the rule of having all the discussion posts up there and letting you read them before you made your own post. The other reason I do this is because it builds confidence in your ability to reason clearly. I've seen this over every semester that since I've initiated this rule, that the students in week 1 seem to be a little timid, but by week 16 in a long semester, they're arguing, making good points. They're debating with their classmates, and it is a really, really rich discussion. So again, the third reason I do it is because it makes for a richer discussion, and this has been shown in the course evaluations, which I read after every semester and make adjustments to the courses based on your evaluations of the class. So I take those very seriously. So initial discussion posts are due on the Wednesday, and then I want you to make 2 responses to your classmates' posts per discussion. Okay, so in the summer class, this is a little different because you only have 1 week. So you might have 2 discussions in 1 week, and so you may have 4 responses due that week. I know that's a lot, but I've cut down on the number of assignments, and I cut down on the number of quizzes and turn those into tests so that you would have more time to enter into the discussions and to post responses. This is another reason why it's so important that you make your initial post by Wednesday, because I want to have time, give your classmates time to pick out a post that they want to respond to and actually think about it. All right, so that's the reason that that I'm doing that. Also, I don't believe that there is ever, in fact, I checked this, there's never going to be a week where you're going to have more than 2 discussions. All right, so that should make your life a little bit easier, and I think you're going to enjoy the discussions. Assignments and tests. Okay, so we usually have 1 to 2 individual assignments. These are the online assignments, and they're due each week. You can do them whenever you want during the week, but they're going to always be due by Sunday at 11:59 of that week. And I won't grade them before the actual due date, which is Sunday at 11:59. So if you turn your assignments in on a Monday of that week, don't expect me to grade it, all right, or give you, I've actually probably graded it, but don't expect me to release your grade and your paper and assignment until the following Monday or Tuesday. The reason for that is because it would create an unfair advantage to for other students. So I want to make sure that, and it would actually hurt you if you're the first person to turn it in and I grade yours, and then other students may be able to see that, or somebody shares it with them, then that creates a problem. All right, so if you turn it in early, you can always call me or email me if you're worried about it didn't get submitted, and I could go and check, and I can look it over for you just to make sure you're on the right track. I'm more than happy to do that. I just won't turn back the assignments until the Monday or Tuesday after the Sunday that they're due. All right. There's also going to be one test each week. The test 1 and 2 are going to be multiple choice. Test 3 and 4, because now you're during week 1 and 2, you're still at the processing level and not analyzing as much. So multiple choice is fine. But test 3 and 4, I'll probably do multiple choice, a little bit harder with some essay type multiple choice questions, and which will be very similar to your discussions. And then I might have a few short answer questions. All right, I'm still working on those 2 tests, so that's why that's still up in the air. Again, you can take the test whenever you feel you're ready. I will say that test 3 and 4, you probably want to wait until after the discussions, or at least the initial post, to take the test, because there may be some short answer questions that come out of the discussions, or you might get some, as I said, the discussions are very rich, and so sometimes somebody will answer a question for you that you then will be able to use that knowledge on the test. Okay, but again, you can take it whenever you feel ready. But again, it's due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So your individual research paper. So if you go to course content, you're going to see these icons or files. The first is the research assignment, which actually you need to open it up and you need to read it. Okay, so read the research assignment today. Don't wait until week 4 to start reading this. And the reason for this is because I want you to start thinking about your topic now. Okay, we're optimizing your time and your effort. I want you to use session 1, discussion post 2, to explore your potential topic, right? So when you get to session 1, discussion post 2, you'll see that discussion revolves around finding a statute and discussing the importance or the impact that it has on the hospitality industry. Your research paper is similar to this. So that would be a great time for you to start thinking about your topic, reading your classmates' post, and maybe they came up with a really interesting statute that you'd never even thought of, and maybe you want to make that the basis of your research paper. Again, this is just that this is a fast and furious 4 weeks. Let's optimize our time and our effort and start working on it in week 1, all right? The second file is basically your research paper formatting and guidelines. So something to make sure that you do is follow those formatting guidelines. You want to make sure you have a title page. I can't tell you the number of papers that I get that have no name on them, and then I have to go searching to figure out what paper belongs to what person. And so that never makes for a happy professor. So let's try making a happy professor by having a title page with your name on it. I don't really need your PeopleSoft, but if you want to provide me with that, that's fine. And kind of on that note, you might also want to start this as a good practice for the future now, and then also in your careers, is actually naming your document as a Word document or a PDF, something that makes sense. So make sure your name is in there. So you could say Abbott.individual research assignment, .HRMA 3358, and that would be or underscore instead of a dot. If you want to, that's a better convention to use. And then that will, in your file name extension, and then that way your professor knows immediately when they've saved your document to a folder in their computer that who it is. I don't have to go through and rename all of the files, which again also makes for a very unhappy professor. So let's keep a happy professor, all right? So make sure you follow the research paper formatting and guidelines, and if you remember, please try to use the correct file extensions and or best practices for file extensions and in naming your files. And then also I have tips and resources. So these are some places where you can find if you are struggling. Again, if in your discussion for discussion post 2, if you're struggling to find a statute, I suggest going to the tips and resources and look there, because it's going to have some areas where you can look for different statutes that impact the hospitality industry. And then last but not least is the submission box. And so that's where you're going to submit your paper on June 30th. So again, it's due June 30th. That's a Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So repeat, how to be successful in HRMA 3358 summer course. And let's just think, this is going to be a fast and furious 4 weeks. I know I've said that several times, and the reason for that is because I want you to realize that you got to get a jump on this, okay? I want to make sure that you are planning and prioritizing, right? So let's get ahead of this game. If in doubt, always ask me. I'm here to help. You'll probably see in my welcome announcement and email, I discussed last semester, the students set up a GroupMe account and they looped me into that. So they invited me, I accepted. It was a new tool for me, but it was great in that I was able to answer questions. They were able to answer questions for each other. So if they were confused, they asked each other in the GroupMe chat. And then I would see if somebody was confused, and I was able to come in and say, hey, this is Professor Abbott. You're on the right track. Yes, that's what you need to do. All right, and that gave them enough, information that they could move forward and not be stuck trying to figure out what Dr. Abbott might want. Just ask me and I will be happy to tell you, all right? So my cell phone number is on the syllabus, and I think it's in the announcement that you received as well. And make sure that if somebody in the class sets up a GroupMe account, loop me in on it. I'm more than happy to. I think I got the hang of it last semester. We had a little bit of a glitch where GroupMe disappeared, and I did not know that students were asking questions, but I think I have that fixed now. So if you don't hear it from me within 24 hours, then I did not get your message, okay? If you email me, it's jabbott@uh.edu. If you text me on my cell phone number, make sure you say you're a student in your text, so that I'll know, because there's lots of random number calling now. So always text me and say, this is a student in your HRMA 3358 class. I have a question, right? Or just I'm a student. And that way I'll know. I'll put you in my book, and that way you can ask me questions. You can go through GroupMe. Any of those methods are fine. If you can also use Blackboard, although most of you don't use Blackboard email, and so sometimes I used to check it religiously, but I don't check it as much now because I get so many emails and texts in different ways. So if you don't hear from me, the rule is if you don't hear from me within 24 hours, then I did not get your message, all right? And you need to reach out again, all right? Something has gone wrong. Most of the students, if you talk to students from past semesters, I'm usually respond within 20 minutes to a half an hour. I have my phone with me. I sleep with my computer. So I know that sounds bad. But the point is, I definitely, for these 4 weeks, I'm completely available, and maybe not in my office, but completely available online. So if you don't hear from me, I have either died or I didn't get your message, all right? I really look forward to sharing this passion with you. I love teaching hospitality law. It's my favorite class. I put a lot of effort into making this class completely self-contained in the online environment, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it and learn a lot. I know that law might be a scary topic, but it really is a lot of fun, and I think hopefully you will enjoy it. With that said, make sure you watch the videos, all right? So make sure you're watching the lectures. I do not have PowerPoints up because I want you to take notes from the videos, and the PowerPoints don't always follow the lectures, and so I don't want to cause you any confusion. All right? Well, with that said, let's get started with our 4 weeks of law. All right? And again, I look forward to working with all of you, and I look forward to reading your bios in the next over the next week.